Welcome back to another episode of Hazy Headed. Today I'm going to talk about how important it is to be true to yourself and let your light shine. I'm Evan Brandt, and this is Never Dim Yourself for Others. So I had this very interesting conversation with an amazing person. You know, we were talking about how we both left our hometowns. We both wanted to start fresh. And one thing that she was just so confident in saying how important she is. And I always struggled with that because I always have felt like if I am too open, if I am too self-expressive, that people will think, oh, I'm egotistical, I'm problematic. And these are behaviors that I've developed over years and years and years. I always didn't want to come across as too smart to intimidate people. And it made me think a lot about kind of the direction in my life. And it feels kind of weird telling people, you know, I love my job and I love the trajectory I'm on. And because we're so conditioned to be smaller. I mean, think about it. If you were in school, you would have the honor students be praised and you'd have the super athletes be praised. But everybody has a gift. And a lot of times, if it doesn't fit a standard, for example, a standard of like, are you going to make a career out of this? How are you going to make money? How are you going to do this? When are you going to get married? And in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and that surrounding area, it's probably small towns across the world. You know, you have one cookie cutter path. You get married at 19, you get a couple kids, and then you find a stable job. And there's nothing wrong with that. The issue I have with it is that if you are ambitious, you need to be able to get rid of that, or you need to be able to escape that, because if you feel like you are special, don't deny yourself that. I've denied it since I was a kid. I don't know why, you know. My parents have always loved and supported me, no matter how crazy my vision seems. And it's just, I caught myself when I talk to people, I say things like, oh, you know, if I was more confident this or that, you know, and it's crazy. And I always praise people for having that self-confidence. And I do too. I've noticed just being able to relinquish myself of that control of feeling like I have to hold myself back. I'm more expressive. I'm more loving. I'm more in tune with my emotions. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're a star, you got to shine, you know. As Kanye West says, he says, if you're not a star, or he says, if I'm a star, how could I not shine? That is how you have to live your life. If you are an overachiever, or even if you're going down the path that is uncertain and you just feel like it can happen, don't be afraid to shine your light. Look at it this way. If I was an Olympic athlete and I trained every day for 6 years straight and just relentless training, what happens is you hold up a mirror to people. You hold up a mirror to everybody you meet. You're more self-expressive. You're very positive. You're doing good things in life. You hold up a mirror to people, and that makes them uncomfortable. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable, people that have big aspirations but aren't doing anything. So the real thing you have to understand is that hate is going to come in massive quantities, and not necessarily you're going to have a lot of love from the people that actually care about you. But I think the biggest thing holding people back is fear in that aspect, because when you are expressive, when you are saying things and you speak your mind, and you're living in a way you're very in control of what you can do, not everybody likes that. This is my feeling. People don't like to live in the way of feeling like they are surviving. Obviously not. And some people are going to be that way, and they're grinding in their own regard. And I respect that. I respect people that are struggling and they're not getting anywhere, but they are staying positive and hopeful. One thing I can't respect are people that are negative and make excuses for other people's success. My success doesn't hurt you, bro. There's plenty of success to go around. That's the beauty of an abundance mindset. There's plenty for all of us. And the way I look at it, if you see somebody that is working a job they like and they're working on projects they care about, maybe they have a family, maybe they're doing X, Y, Z, that kind of abundance does not take away from you. We get jealous so easily. I do too, but I have noticed the more I'm focused on myself and rising my own energy, the less jealousy I do have, and I just feel like I'm on the right path. And if you feel that way too, where you are just confident, you're swaggy with it, you're living in alignment, or maybe you're starting to, or maybe things are just going really good for you right now. Don't hold yourself back. Let that light shine. Because if you have a powerful energy inside of you, it's not like a candle where it is like a candle. When you light the candle, the other flame is still bright. So just that energy is contagious. So never ever think to yourself that you don't deserve to be somebody that can influence others and be, anything you want. It all starts when you are young, and everyone has a dream. That's my theory. I really do believe everybody has a dream, and the beauty of it, not everybody's dream is the same. People want to make a narrative like, oh, everybody just wants to be a social media influencer, and yada, yada. Everyone's got a podcast. Everybody's got a podcast. But there's plenty of people that would love to own a little food truck in the mountains, selling pierogies. I'm in Pennsylvania, so that's why I brought that up. But whatever that may be, chase it like you have fire under your ass, because you should. Because look at this way. Those things that are inside of you, those thoughts that are inside your head, like, wow, it would be fun to do a food truck. Well, that is your mind, like, obviously thinking about the goal, but think of all the experience you're going to get from that, good and bad, and just like the sheer amount of life you'll be living, and you'll wake up with a little more, pep in your step. And that's why, like, if we were all living in accordance to ourselves, obviously I can't quantify this because most of us aren't, but I really do believe we would be living in such a great society because everybody would be doing what they want. There's some people that would love to work at 7-Eleven for their lives and just, for multitudes of reasons. People will like, oh, nobody wants to work fast food. Nobody likes to. Well, what if it's a good team? What if they have a low cost of living? They could live with their family. There's nothing inherently wrong. A lot of cultures besides the United States, people live with their families their whole lives. And I guarantee you that, if you're working at McDonald's, you're happy, you're healthy, you are bringing smile to people's faces and saving money, and you just you're very content with that, and you feel like you're actually working towards something. Maybe you care more about surfing outside of your job, or you care about this, but when you are living in accordance to your calling, that's when the light inside of you can start spreading. Because when you don't live in accordance to yourself and you deny the side of yourself that wants, something different, you're going to spiral. So just feel that inside of you. Meditation is a beautiful thing. I don't care what culture you come from. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care if you're black, white, yellow. You need to have that time to yourself to tap into this, to your vast amount of thoughts that are always around you. Sorry for the hippity-dippity segment right there, but truly, I think a lot of people would love to work in a fishing town across the country, but they feel like that is impractical because I was supposed to be an engineer or I was supposed to be a plumber. And then there's the guy that's working on Wall Street that kind of wishes he was a plumber. And there's always going to be jobs available. You know, you can say job market this, job market that. If you're a person who can communicate well, none of that matters. Or, you know, have skills. Like if you can spend your time enriching yourself, your dreams and goals and aspirations will come to you from the air. Like, it's like, oh, I'm really good at talking. Like, maybe I should do a podcast. Maybe I should be a public speaker. Maybe I should do this. Man, I'm really athletic. Maybe I should be a coach. Maybe I should be a physical fit, you know, things like that. Man, I really like helping people. I could be a firefighter. I could be a teacher. And, you know, pay is a problem, obviously, with these situations. Teachers should be paid more, but no teacher does it for money. They do it for purpose. And everybody that does something big with their life and big in their own regard, it's all passion. Because people that say dumb things like, oh, don't follow your passions, you know, that's a popular clickbait YouTube thumbnail. And I'm just like, if you listen to that, you are inhibiting yourself as a person. I'd rather be broke on the side of the street fucking struggling, but I wake up every day with purpose, rather than someone that's comfortable making $50,000-$60,000 a year doing something I hate. I mean, I lived that. I wasn't making that much. Well, I'm not going to say if I was or not, but I was living in a way. I was making plenty of money. I was living in a low cost of living area, you know, but I didn't care about it. I didn't have any drive or love towards it. It was just a repetitive, monotonous cycle. And I was living so that people outside looking in would be like, oh, he's working hard. I wasn't fucking working hard. I could give a fuck about my job. But that identity that was so solidified in me was like, okay, yeah, this feels good. Like, people know that I'm this professional and yada, yada, yada. But, and you know, I could live, there's probably an alternate universe where I stay in my little town. I might find a decent girl and, you know, I go on vacation every, you know, maybe once every 4 years or something, maybe have a couple of kids. I'm not saying any of that isn't in my future, but I'm just grateful that I said to myself, look, let's see what you're made of. Let's see if you can go to a totally new area and get things done. And now things are just coming to me in abundance in love, abundance in creativity, abundance in everything. And that is more important than you could ever imagine, because that is when you start to make changes around you. You know, like being a super hateful, negative person, that energy is way heavier. You can feel it. If you're somebody that can, you know, I'm not an energy guru, whatever they call that shit where they do the magic stuff and they're like, yeah, you got the energy cleans you, shit like that. No. But I do believe if you can tap into love, if you can tap into appreciation, gratitude, if you can find ways to be empowering yourself, you know, confidence is not a problem. And that's the dim your light that I'm talking about. You can dim your light to not intimidate others or not feel like you're stepping on somebody's toes. But what are you doing? Like, you should, because at the end of the day, you stepping on their toes is just exposing their insecurity. As long as you're not a complete fucking dick, like, oh, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, being a conceited ass, nobody's going to like you. But if you're self-empowering and you care about other people and you listen to other people and you say things that are on your mind, that brightness inside of you is going to shine. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please follow Hazy Headed Official on my Instagram. I post daily psychology reels, a little more educational, a little more fun. If you like my more vulnerable, more anecdotal content, tune in to Hazy Headed Podcast. Thank you so much.